Galbrena's signature weapon, along with the full information of the stats that it provides, have been officially released. So in today's video, we'll be diving a bit deeper into the pull value of this weapon by analyzing how it easily synergizes with Galbrena to give you guys an idea of what you should expect from her gameplay. Then we'll dive into which characters can benefit from this weapon from a free-to-play perspective, other weapon options available for Galbrena, and finally my pull recommendation to help you decide if you should pull for this weapon or not, based on several situations. For the stats, she's rocking a 587 base attack with a well-balanced crit damage of 48.6%. This means that you should be running a full cost echo even though the Flame Wing Shadow Sonata effect provides 20% crit rate, just like the 3P Stream of the Lost and 5P's Eternal Radiance. Here's where a lot of players might feel tempted to run a crit damage focus echo when running her signature weapon because of the crit rate that we can get from her Sonata effect to get more crit damage, but let's break it down further to see what you end up with. My Zani build here will be a very good example to provide a bit more clarity on the final crit ratio that you end up with when you're done building Galbrena. Keep in mind that I have double crit on all my echo pieces. If Galbrena has crit rates on her skill tree and you run a crit damage focus echo, her final build will be similar to what I have here on my Zani, since she also has crit rates on her skill tree. This means that if you want to run a crit damage focus echo, you'll have to hyper optimize your echo substats to get at least 50% total crit rate before the crit rate from the Flame Wing Shadow adds up for you to get around 70% crit rate or more, which is recommended for every DPS unit. But if Galbrena has crit damage on her skill tree like Camellia, your total crit rate should be around 40%, leading to about 60% crit rate when the crit rate from the Flame Wing Shadow gets added, which will be quite low and increases Galbrena's dependency on Showkeeper for the crit rate that she provides. To be honest, I'm not a fan of DPS units always being tied to Showkeeper for crit rate, so to maintain your sanity when running her signature weapon without Showkeeper, always run a crit rate focused echo. Now let's get into the passives. The first spot buffs attack by 12%, which is nothing special, but at least it's a universal buff that any other pistol unit can benefit from as long as they scale off attack. The second part of the passive amplifies heavy attack damage by 24% for 6 seconds after dealing echo skill damage, and the third part amplifies echo skill damage by 24% for 6 seconds after dealing heavy attack damage. But how does this actually work from a gameplay perspective? To obtain the heavy attack damage and the echo skill damage amplification while Galbrena is on the field, you simply need to spam basic attacks in her normal state where nothing is really happening up to the 4th stage. From the official kit information, the normal basic attacks stage 1, 2, and 3 are considered as heavy attack damage, but stage 4, which is the last stage, scales off echo skill damage. Keep in mind that you'll be using the normal basic attacks to regenerate Forte stacks as well before you can use her Forte circuit, so you can't really mess up as far as obtaining the weapon buffs is concerned. Be sure to keep in mind that using her echo skill, which will most likely be Chorosaurus or the blue dinosaur, will deal echo skill damage to activate the 20% heavy attack damage amplification. This will come in quite handy if you're up against highly aggressive enemies that'll make you dodge so many times and delay the 4th basic attacks if you already have full Forte stacks. But how do you actually refresh the buffs? When Galbrena has full Forte stacks, using her skill will make her enter a special state called Demon Hypostasis, which is just a fancy term for her Forte circuit. In this state, she can perform 5 basic attacks. The damage from stage 1, 2, and 3 are considered as heavy attack damage, and the damage from stage 4 and 5 are considered as echo skill damage. Keep in mind that she can actually restart her basic attacks from stage 3 after stage 5 in the Demon Hypostasis mode, as you can see right here. So you can constantly refresh the 2 buffs on the weapon by just spamming basic attacks when she's consuming the Forte stacks in the Demon Hypostasis mode. The last part of the passive will ignore 8% of the enemy's defense when the heavy attack damage amplification and echo skill damage amplification is active. Spamming basic attacks in the Demon Hypostasis mode basically ensures that the 8% defense ignore has no downtime when Galbrena is doing damage. With that out of the way, let's get into this weapon's synergy with other characters in the game from a free-to-play perspective. The 20% echo skill damage amplification is useless on everyone else in the game, but in terms of synergy with the 20% heavy attack damage amplification, Chikona will be the only character that can make use of it because of her forte circuit that is considered as heavy attack damage. All you need to do is cast her echo skill to do echo skill damage before you hold basic attack to use her forte circuit. Aside from Chikona, there's no other pistol unit at the moment that scales heavily on heavy attack damage, but the weapon can be a universal alternative specifically for any pistol main damage dealer due to the high base attack and crit damage substat. Now let's get into Galbrena's weapon alternatives. It's quite unfortunate that there are no options where she fully synergizes with the passives, but as a first priority, go for Carlotta's weapon if you cannot afford her signature due to the crit damage substat that it provides. But the second part of the passive will provide no value because the skill that Galbrena can use in the normal mode and the demon hypostasis mode skills of heavy attack damage. The second priority will be Chikona's signature weapon as a crit rate static, but the passive is useless with the exception of the 12% attack. The third priority will be Static Mist, which has a crit rate substat and is easily available since it's a standard 5-star weapon, but if you don't have that, you can use a 4-star weapon as a placeholder until you can get your hands on a 5-star weapon. For 4 stars, first recommendation will be Solar Flame due to the crit rate substat, attack percentage, and heavy attack damage bonus that it provides. But since it's locked behind a paywall, you can use Relativistic Jet as your 4-star placeholder until you can get your hands on a 5-star weapon. Now here are my pull recommendations. Unlike Augusta, Yuno, and Frolova, Galbrena's alternative weapon options are not looking good if I'm being honest. Since she has the main damage dealer role, she'll be the one to do the highest damage in the team if you're mainly playing her as a hyper carry. So she needs a weapon where she can take full advantage or some advantage of the passive, like how Jiyan's weapon and Zhang Liao's weapon have a good synergy with Augusta and Yuno respectively. And the fact that her signature weapon provides damage amplification instead of damage bonuses like most weapons in the game, it makes it very hard to skip because you'll be losing quite a significant amount of damage. For those who just started playing Withering Waves, damage amplification buffs are one of the hardest buffs to obtain, unlike attack, damage bonuses, and crit, which you can get from echoes. It can be quite powerful if the other offensive stats that you can get from your echoes are well balanced, so if you plan to pull for Galbrena, make sure to get her signature weapon. Hope this video provided some value to you, and if it did, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel because it's free and you can always change your mind. Be sure to also join our Discord community if you're having any issues with the game or you just want a place to chill or hang out. Link will be in the pinned comment below. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.